Well, it's bad when Fox switches to another game and it's a more competitive game, and the the Saints and the Falcons. It's just terrible. Let's talk about it here next on Cowboys.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take Cowboys.
Throws back of the end zone. There's CeeDee
What's going on, everybody? Cowboys C3. Cowboys fall to the Giants today, 34-17. I told you the Giants were going to play them hard. They were going to play them like there was no tomorrow, because there wasn't. And they did. Jackson Dart, 22 of 32 for 232 touchdowns. Tracy, 18 carries for 103 yards. Devin Singletary, 9 for 26 and a touchdown. Jackson Dart, 5 for 32. Gunnar Olszewski, 8 catches for 102 yards. Tyrone Tracy, 8 for 56 yards and a touchdown. Daniel Bellinger, 2 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown. And Darius Slayton had 4 catches for 34 yards. Defensively, Dane Belton had 8 tackles. Raheem Lane had 3 tackles. Rico Payton had 3 tackles. Timon Fox had 2 tackles. Andrew Phillips had 2 tackles. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 7-11 for 70 yards. Joe Milton, 7 of 13 for 73 yards and an interception. My boy JB, Jaden Blue, 16 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown. Joe Milton had 4 carries for 43 yards. Phil Moffitt had 5 carries for 18 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Lemke had 2 carries for 12 yards. Ryan Flanoy had 5 catches, 8 yards. Brevin Spann, 2 for 30. Schoon, 1 for 12. Phil Moffitt, 2 for 11. Pickens had 1 catch for 9 yards. Ferguson had 1 catch for 5 yards. Hunter Lemke had 1 catch for 4 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch for 4 yards. Clowney had 5 tackles, 3 sacks. He played his ass off today. I mean, if there was a guy that was like, I want to be here, I want to play football today, you guys need to renew my contract, it was Jadeveon Clowney. All over the field today, hustle from start to finish. Hats off to him. I thought he played phenomenal, and I think that they would be crazy not to re-sign him. Kalen Carson, 4 tackles. Reddy Stewart, 4 tackles. Logan Wilson, 3 tackles. Donovan Wilson, 3 tackles. Shamar James, 3 tackles. Josh Butler, 3 tackles. Sam Williams, 2 tackles. Notice your starting middle linebacker, I don't call his name. He had 1 tackle. That's Kenneth Murray Jr. and a dumbass personal foul penalty over on the sideline before they finally took him out, and Logan Wilson pretty much played the rest of the game. Just another pathetic performance defensively, especially. It was bad. Offense looked disinterested. The starting offense came out kind of like they were just kind of going through the motions. They all got sat down at halftime. In Blue played exceptionally well today. He was explosive. He was, pass blocking. He picked up his assignments extremely well. When given the opportunity, most of them on passing downs, they would put Hunter Lemke back there, and he would kind of wait to see if anybody was coming. Then he would kind of go out, in the flats and see if Dak would or Joe Milton would dump a ball down to him. Defensively, this team, they don't tackle well. They're so far away from the ball anytime the ball is thrown. Like it is unbelievable. Like Jackson Dart missed a lot of passes today, but he still threw for 230 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It was a pathetic performance. Shouldn't have been fired. Zimmer should have stayed hired as the head coach. Schottenheimer needs more time to learn about risk management. So, okay, the first part of your statement, I I agree with wholeheartedly. I do not think that Schottenheimer has done a bad job. I mean, he is the offensive player. He is the head coach of the football team. They all respect him, and he has the number one offense in the NFL. Probably won't be number one after today, but it'll be number two. I think that he has done a pretty decent job given what he's had. He did something a couple of weeks ago that was the first time I had ever seen any Cowboy head coach since probably I don't know, man. Parcells probably just absolutely rip another coach on the sideline for doing stupid shit. And he did it to Matt Eberflus. He absolutely ripped into Matt Eberflus, and I enjoyed every single second of it because it was about fucking time. This dude has been pathetic. So there was some bright spots today, and the bright spot for today, it came out about 9:20 this morning. And this is your bright spot. Say the Cowboys are expected to make changes on their coaching staff with the main focus on the defense and defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. There has been dissatisfaction with that side of the ball from ownership all season. Well, thank you, Jerry, for finally seeing the damn light. This came out 28 this morning. Thank you. You finally saw the light. So he says, I'd rather Saban come out of retirement for us, Jerry. Saban ain't coming out of retirement to coach the Cowboys, but Jerry needs to get out the damn way. They absolutely better fire Flus because I went to his house and put that motherfucker for sale. I already did it. I put his house for sale and packed his bags because it's time for his ass to go. He has to go. He has to. He has to go. There's no way. What do you demote him to? The only thing you can demote him to that'll be worth it would be parking lot security. He should have nothing to do with the NFL football team, with any NFL team, let alone the Dallas Cowboys. He should not. This defense has been atrocious all year. He has played players that absolutely shouldn't be playing. What purpose does Kenneth Murray Jr. have on your football team? What purpose? You refuse to adjust your defense. You refuse to do anything that your defense is good at. Like and the proof is in the pudding. The Cowboy offense sputtered in 3 football games this season. 3. They scored 14 points twice and 17 points against the Cardinals in another game. 14 with the Giants and 14 points against. Who did they score 14 points against? It was another loss. Oh, the Chargers. The rest of these games, your offense has scored over 21 points in these football games, and you refuse to lose. His system, so there's no possible way that his system can work. No possible whatsoever. Did it work in Chicago? You have to give me some sort of proof that shows me that his system can work. Because I look at the Chicago Bears, it didn't work. I look here in Dallas, it don't work. Like his defensive philosophy does not work. Period. It doesn't work. When do the Cowboys include anybody in free agency or personnel? So they didn't include Dan Quinn either. They didn't include him as well. And Dan Quinn came in and tried to run a cover 3 scheme. That's what he tried to do when he first got here. And he failed miserably. So he adjusted his scheme in order to do what the Cowboy players did well. That's exactly what he did. And they became a turnover machine. Eberflus decided that he was not going to do that. You are going to run my scheme. And it failed miserably. This is probably the worst defense that the Cowboys have ever had. And there is no possible way in hell that they keep him. Like, they shouldn't. No way. What linebackers were consistent? Kenneth Murray Jr. was consistent. That's what you're saying? Linebackers were absolutely not consistent this season at all. The front four was the best thing that you had, and you went out and got people to fill that void. That was the most consistent group of people that you had on this football team. No linebacker was consistent. No person in the secondary was consistent. Not one. Oh, that's absolutely the truth. That is absolutely true. I agree with you that wholeheartedly. He will never let another coach like Jimmy Johnson come into his organization again. That's why they won't win. You're talking about when he was the linebacker coach here. Okay. Yep. Well, he was the defensive coordinator this year. He was in charge of the entire defense, not just the linebackers, and it was pathetic. Horrible. It was horrendous. And you have to show me some sort of proof that his scheme works, because it doesn't. Like it didn't work. And look at Chicago now. Chicago is playing for the number 2 overall seed right now as we speak. They're losing 6-0, but they are playing. They went and got a head coach, and they went and got a new coaching staff because Eberflus just messed up the whole damn organization for 4 seasons. It is what it is, man. Listen. You got to go. Absolutely has to go. It is time for Matt Eberflus to leave. It's been time for him to leave. There's nothing that he has done that's been successful this season. Nothing. Like I said, Dan Quinn came in here, made some adjustments, and you're probably right that he will voice his opinion about things the way that the organization is run. The players that he needs, and yeah, it was probably time for him to go. Probably so. But you cannot tell me that the best person that they could bring in for the to run the Dallas Cowboy defense was Matt Eberflus. You can't tell me that. I refuse to believe it. Said, I think he built the system around Diggs and Bland and Parsons, and Jerry Ego wrecked it, even though Diggs and Parsons are husband and wife. It's pretty similar. They're pretty close to being husband and wife. But I think he made a scheme around Parsons. I don't believe that, because he didn't even have Parsons in training camp. He didn't have Parsons at any moment of any time he's the defensive coordinator here. So there's no way that you can build a scheme around a guy that you have never had on the football field. You didn't have him in training camp, and you traded him before the season started. So there's no way that they built the scheme around him. And I know you didn't build a scheme around Diggs and Bland. I know you didn't, because Diggs and Bland are bump and run corners. They are man corners, and you run cover 3 within 10 yards off the ball the entire season. That's your scheme. You go back and look at the Chicago Bears for the last 4 years. Their corners were 10 yards off the ball. That's his scheme. That's what he does, and it sucks. It is absolutely pathetic. Well, we talked about that on my last episode, that Dale Hansen, probably 10 years ago, asked Jerry, would any franchise in professional sports hire you as general manager? And it absolutely pissed him off, because he knew the answer was no. He knew that. He's a horrible general manager. He's a fantastic owner. You'll get paid. He does. He has some things that he does that I don't agree with ownership as well. How they withhold from paying players until the absolute last minute, and then you have to pay him a king's ransom in order for him to stay. I don't agree with him doing that, but he's done a lot for the organization. I mean, he bought a franchise for $127 million and turned it into a $14.5 billion team. That's phenomenal ownership wise. But general manager is terrible. Well, it's hard to tell. Like, you forget to play. You didn't forget to play Logan Wilson in the last game. You just refused to play him. You kept Kenneth Murray in there. And Kenneth Murray in the last 3 games have had a total of 3 tackles. He had 2 last game, 1 this game. He played the whole game, the entire game. Like you can't tell me that. Probably not, but it works. Their defensive line has finally been semi-solidified. Finally. But now you have to work on your linebackers and your secondary. So you solidify 4 to 12. Now you got to get some players, 8 more players to make your defense better. I think you have some guys on the roster at linebacker that can absolutely play football. You just don't play them. You just refuse to play him. Maris Lufau, he makes sure he does. He don't make as many mistakes as Kenneth Murray does, but he makes some mistakes. But he's always around the football, making tackles. He's always there. But he never plays. Absolutely never plays. And I think he doesn't play because you don't want to play him. See, children shouldn't have played Clark prematurely and then letting Lewis go. And Jordan Lewis was one of the players that I thought that they absolutely shouldn't have let go, but they did. You're right. You're absolutely right. We did see Jaden Blue, and I was happy for him for playing him. I really was. So Jerry wants to start the linebacker. I don't believe either one of the defensive tackles are freeloaders. I just believe that they funnel run plays to where linebackers can make plays, and the Cowboys don't have a linebacker in the middle that is going to make a play. They just don't. They don't have one. And that is super unfortunate. Overshown is the one guy that will come in and fill voids on the defense and make plays consistently, but he is also consistently hurt. So that is kind of the Sean Lee aspect of DeMarvin Overshown. He was out with a concussion. Yeah. So his season was over 2 weeks ago. That was it for him. So, inconsistencies on defense is hard when you have a top 2 offense in the league and your defense is bottom 2 in the league for the entire season. And I think they climbed out of the 30s once the entire season. I think they were ranked 29th for about a week. Other than that, bottom 2. Agreed. Listen. I would absolutely keep Clowney. I would absolutely keep Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, and Odigizua can get some playing time. Ezeraku, don't think he had a horrible season. He's a rookie. He'll get better. You got a veteran like Clowney now where he can learn a lot from a player like that. Other than that, yeah. They can all go home. Start over. To be honest. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Brandon Aubrey. So the only kicks that he's really missing, that's my mom, y'all. The only kicks that he's really missed have been from over 50. And that's not an easy kick. I mean, 50-yard field goal is a 50-yard field goal. But I mean, I think he missed 4 or 5 the entire season. And all the kicks that he missed were from over 50. And I think he missed 2 from 60. But we're so accustomed to seeing him hitting those type of field goals that everybody's like, well, what's wrong with Brandon Aubrey? Shit, there's a 56-yard field goal he tried today. That's far. I mean, but that that 3 points would have just made the score, 34-20? It wouldn't have made much of a difference. It would have just been 3 points, So it's just an overall disappointing season. I mean, you end the season with a losing record, rightfully so. You deserve the losing record. I think that some of the things that they wanted to do offensively today, I think that they did them. I think they wanted to see what Jaden Blue could do, and I think they wanted to see what Phil Moffitt could do. And you saw that both of them can run the football pretty effectively. Maffa has some, some struggles, but Jaden Blue is exceptionally explosive. You see that now. And, carried the ball 16 times a day. Congratulations to him. I mean, he finally got on the field and finally got an opportunity to show what he can do. I've said it. I said it yesterday, and I'll continue to say it. Like, for everything that Malik Davis has done and come in and been a change of pace back and looked explosive and done things, I just believed that Jaden Blue could do the same thing, and maybe better. And today, I think he shows you that he can do that. And hopefully in the future, he finds some opportunities on the field, whether it's be with the Cowboys or somebody else. I don't know. Who knows what their plans are, dealing with the running back room. I think Javonte Williams showed that he can be a 1,000-yard back, and he can do it. Let's see if he can do it next year, where we can say, yeah, he can consistently do it. This is the first time he's ever rushed for over 1,000 yards, but this is the first time that he's played, a majority of the season. He didn't get to play today because his shoulder was bothering him, and probably just held him out. But they put him on injury reserve. But I highly doubt that if it was an opportunity for them to go to the playoffs or something today, those guys would have been on the field. I believe that. That make him play even better or start dock and pay for second slave to work. No excuses. And make you run 5 miles each day, plus dock pay for every flag a player gets. Now, Brian Flores got in trouble in Miami for that. He was docking they pay for, it was like a certain amount of money for being late, certain amount of money for, personal fouls, certain amount of money for all types of things. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. And the players' organization didn't like it either. And it ultimately cost him his job as a head coach. So he used to miss the close ones. I know, right? He shifted. He from 50 plus, he was automatic. He used to miss extra points. That was his thing. This year, it just kind of shifted on him. One more season and an off season. After this off season, before I write Steve Spurrier, Steve would be an interesting choice. That dude is like 85 years old, though, man. I don't even think Steve would want to do something like that. But hell, Pete Carroll's still doing it, so maybe Steve would come out of the hole and do it. There are some guys that could absolutely be. But seriously though, I think you answered your own question when you said, well, I think you answered, everybody's question, especially about coaches with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry ain't finna bring nobody in here that he thinks is gonna try to overpower him. He knows Schottenheimer not gonna overpower him. That's why Schottenheimer's safe for about 4 or 5 seasons. Bob Stoops won a championship here with the Renegades. So shit, he's the only coach in Arlington that has actually won a championship in the last decade. $30 years. That's crazy. 30 years. That is insane. So, yeah, Cowboys lose again. And rightfully so today. I mean, it was rightfully so. 34-17. I told everybody yesterday that I felt like that the Giants would play them tough, and they come out and they play really hard, and the Cowboys better be prepared, and they weren't. And I didn't even give a score prediction today because I didn't know what type of time the Cowboys would be on. And they showed you. Eventually it came out, because at first, they were handing the ball off to Blue, and Blue was making some explosive runs. At one point in the game, he was averaging over 10 yards a carry till the Giants kind of closed that down. You see. He said Stephon Diggs and I don't think so. They playing right now. Just flip over and look at the Patriots. I don't think so. So I bet you that Miami was way better. You know what? And they were more competitive for sure, especially defensively. Especially defensively, they were more competitive than they are now, for sure. But, and it cut down those penalties. The Cowboys are always, consistently one of the more penalized teams in the NFL. And penalties are normally a sign of lack of focus, or lack of discipline. If you believe, see between Switzerland and Bob Stoops. See, Shotty needs to go get Kingsbury, get Flores or Bowles, an expert defense, offense. Well, so in order to get Bowles or Flores, you're gonna have to pay them. And Jerry's not real big on paying coaches. Not in the past he has been. Now, recently he's come out and said there's not a check that he wouldn't write if he thought it would get him a Super Bowl. And that's a good way to put that statement to the test. You're gonna have to get some people in here that are gonna do it. So you say, will we see Milton be here next year? Probably. I think he signed for like 2 or 3 years. He'll probably be here. And to be honest, I don't think he's the quarterback of the future, but he's a serviceable backup if you need one. I mean, he can, his touch throw needs a lot of work, but that's, those are things that he can work. He can work, and Dak is excellent at layering footballs over defenders, and that's something that he could definitely work on. Now, the question I would ask would be, do I think he's the quarterback for the future? And that answer right now would be no. I don't think so. You got somebody else. And Dak's window is closing because Dak is 32 years old. He's probably got about, 3 good seasons in him left, and then that'll be about it. Got to find somebody else. I don't disagree with that. And I think the Mike thing had more to do with not wanting to negotiate with the agent, Dave Mulugeta, for whatever reason. But, if you are going to keep George Pickens, you might want to let bygones be bygones with whatever you have against the agent or, whatever, and Jerry said, he don't really talk. You don't need agents. He can just talk to players. But that obviously didn't work. And you have another one of his players in the locker room that has paid off huge dividends for you. And, if you're going to keep him, you franchise tag him and do whatever you got to do, but eventually you're going to have to talk to that agent. And that's the only way that deal is going to get worked out, or he'll be gone too. So, not sure what the conflict is there. I mean, Jerry truly and honestly believes in doing things his way. I think that's pretty evident. Should be evident to everybody. But, you got to figure that one out. You got to. If you don't figure that one out, you're going to be in trouble. For sure. Because Pickens will walk. He'll go somewhere and make a whole lot of money. And, you'll have to find yourself a number 2 receiver. And right now, with the draft picks that you have right now, if you're not rebuilding your entire defense with these draft picks for the next 2 seasons, then you're just doing it wrong. You need to go get some real life dogs, and you need to go get you a real life leader of dogs instead of Matt Eberflus. That's just not gonna work. So yeah, I really don't. I really think that it became a prideful thing, like we already have a contract. I don't need to deal with your agent. I just need to deal with you. You know what I mean? And that's it. You come here and sign this contract, and that'll be the end of it. But it didn't work out that way, and he's in Green Bay. I mean, he's on the shelf now. He'll be on the shelf for a while because he tore his ACL late in the season. But at least he got his significant other, right? He got Diggs, so they should be good. Should be. We'll see. Green Bay is they falling off at the wrong time too. They going on a cold streak going into the playoffs. But anyway, that's my show for today. Disappointed, but in the next, couple of months, we'll still go twice a week, and we'll talk about offensive and defensive needs and contract cap space issues, contracts that probably need to be re-signed, and players that can probably walk, or just get rid of them. There's some guys that you can save a lot of money just cutting them now, just cutting your ties. Like I don't think if you cut Terrence Steele right now, you don't get any kind of cap hit for it whatsoever. So there are things that the Cowboys can do to open up some cap space, try to bring some free agents in here, for a change, some quality free agents in here for a change, like get involved in free agency the first day so you can get you some proven players in here and, start working on this draft and see what they're going to do. It's kind of weird because the season's not fully over yet. You got some playoff teams that you've got some ties to see like where you would draft or like with the Jets, what you might owe them. Like I think they might have to give up a third, I think a second and a third. Don't know exactly, but we'll talk about all of that. We'll research it, talk about all that stuff and what the Cowboys can do to try to be more competitive next year. But I think the first thing to do, off season wise, and I think that, some people may not agree with it, but I think that the first thing that needs to happen is this dude, he got to go. He got to find himself, somewhere else to live. Because this house in Dallas needs to be vacated, by the morning. I'm telling you, like I wouldn't even put him on the team plane. He would be on a Greyhound on the way back to Dallas, get your own ticket. It is what it is. Embarrassment Swiss is super old. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like you gotta find somebody. It's somebody gotta do it. Gotta do it. That's who Switzerland is, Mom. Bear Switzer. Okay. You guys have a great rest of your day. Watch some of these games. This Bears and Lions game. Lions up 13-0, but the Bears are driving. It's got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good football still left in the season, for the teams that are going to the playoffs. Just unfortunately this season it won't be the Dallas Cowboys. Better luck next year. All right, everybody. Man, it's been a wonderful season. Thank you guys for joining. If you haven't, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And, like I said, we'll keep going. We'll start this off-season show next week. All right, everybody. Have a good one, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.